And we are live. That was quick. What's up, everybody? This is Chris, and this is my channel, Born on 11970. And of my 40,000 subscribers, well, almost 40,000 subscribers, I'd like to welcome the 200 or 300 that will actually be able to see this video. And today is the 11th of October, 2017, currently 1:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as you can see in the title of this video, Unlearn What You Have Learned, I want to ask people a question, and I want you to ask this to anyone, basically anywhere in the world, because it basically is probably going to be relevant to any place in the world. And we're going to talk about our government officials, because if you are the type of person who likes to research and likes to look into things and doesn't just believe everything that's presented to you, you find out over time that a lot of things you have been told are either inaccurate or flat out lies. And it's unfortunate because we do put our trust in those who are quote unquote in charge. And it's not just subject to people who live in America or live in Russia, North Korea, South Africa. It doesn't matter. Because if you know anything about any government system throughout the world, they tend to not be very honest. They tend to be very corrupt. And one thing they are always, which most of us are not, is extremely wealthy. And I can pretty much only speak for the government that I live under, which is the United States of America Corporation. Can't really speak for other places because I've never been there. I don't know how their governments work, but I'm pretty much sure certain things are going to be truthful. Politicians are going to be very wealthy because they get a lot of briberies. They are upper class for a reason because, you know, you have to be in the club to be able to be in politics. They tend to control almost everything in your life. In other words, what you can and cannot put in your food, what you can and cannot have regulated in your medicines, what can and cannot be said on the television, what can and cannot be taught in schools, things like this. Now, we know that they tend to be very dishonest. I mean, how many people have seen one joke after another about politicians? And we tend to laugh at it, but we need to start thinking about things in a different way. So I pose a question. You can ask this to anybody who could be even the most loving of whatever government they live under. In your lifetime or their lifetime, can people name 3 people in government, whether they're in the highest position or mid-level position, it doesn't matter, whether they're a local government or federal government? Can you name 3 people in your lifetime that you could say were completely honest, did almost every single thing that they said they were going to do, and made your particular area, whether it's your country, your town, your village, whatever, a better place? Now, the ironic part is, some people may think of 1. They'll struggle to think of 2. They would have to think really hard to get a 2nd. And probably most people will never reach the 3rd. Now, I'm sure wherever you live in your world, or you're part of the world, I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands, of politicians that you could look up and find out about. And yet, trying to find 3 that would be full of integrity and did pretty much what they said they were going to do is going to be a head-scratcher. And yet, these are the people that are in charge of our lives. Now, the reason for most of the world that they are is because we allow them to be. For some reason, people feel, excuse me, people feel the need to be led. I'm sure you know how to get up on your own. I'm sure you drive yourself most of the time to work, or maybe you take a bus, or maybe you take a train, or maybe you take a taxi. I'm sure when you go to your job, nobody is there always constantly showing you what to do every single day for your whole life. I'm sure at one point you got it. I'm sure you're able to walk around on your own for the most part, or at least get around. So my point is, we can do things on our own, and yet we rely on others to take control of our lives. Now, if these individuals were looking out for our best interest and keeping their promises and doing good for the society as a whole, well, then I would say they're doing a good job. We should let them keep doing it. But since so many people are complaining all the time, and more people tend to be in poverty than those who are in charge, why do we all, or most of us, put all of our energy into believing in these individuals, whether they're male or female, gay or straight, black or white, Republican, Democrat, communist, or what other kind of governments throughout the world? It doesn't matter. And you'll see that, like, videos like this, I mean, YouTube blocks my videos all the time anyway. Videos like this that will actually question any government official, this video is going to be very hard to be seen. I mean, right now, I have a whole one person listening. What a surprise. So thank you to the one person. And it'll maybe get 300 or 400, but by tomorrow morning, it will already have been flagged, because they don't like free thought. Now, you don't hear me saying we should injure anybody, or overthrow anybody, or say anything that could cause physical harm. All I'm saying is to question what it is that's presented to us. And all you have to do is research things, and you will see politician after politician that will go to the highest bidder. In other words, if you want a law passed or a law not passed, all you have to do is put in a bunch of fiat currency into their pockets, and they tend to get things done, or they prevent things from getting done. And these are things that you can easily look up. You've seen many people get caught taking bribes. But then you get smarter people, or supposedly smarter people, like the Clintons, who create a quote-unquote foundation that they're supposedly doing for charity work, but use as a front, so people are not technically bribing them. They're just giving quote-unquote donations. If you look up an interview with Hillary Clinton as she was leaving the White House when her husband was president at the time, back in the 90s, she was talking about how they had no money, or barely any money, when they were leaving the White House. And yet she's worth millions of dollars now. Wonder where she got all that money. We need to think in different ways. We need to become more independent. We need to not be afraid to question things. And that's why, even though one person is still watching this video, only one person has gotten it, and I hear people constantly telling me that they never even get notifications of my videos, and sometimes it's weeks later, I will still put out this message, because if the one person watching ends up doing something to help change this world and make it into a better place, and was maybe inspired by this or one of my other videos, well, then it's a good thing to do it. And that's why I tell people all the time to lose the fear, stand up for yourself. I mean, we used to get good revenue doing this stuff. Now, I never made enough to retire, of course, but I made enough to put gas in my car and pay a couple of small little bills here and there. And now they've taken that away pretty much, which is fine. But you notice I still make the videos, because it's not about the money. It's about spreading the truth. It's about making people question, or helping them to question. And the more we stay silent, the more we allow others to do potentially the wrong thing. And like they say, the proof is in the pudding. And I've asked this question so many times in videos, and not one person has ever given me an answer. And that is, if any government throughout the world is doing such a wonderful job, please explain to me which country on this planet is a utopia, where everybody is, got free health care, and everybody has all the currency they need, and there's no crime, and the streets are wonderfully paved, and the government is there only for helping you, and there's peace on that I guess country or island or whatever, or town or village. Please explain to me where there's one in the world. I'm still waiting for that answer. And yet, if you question them, you're labeled a conspiracy theorist. If you don't believe in the things that they tell us, like what supposedly happened at 9/11, where two planes knocked down 3 buildings in New York City. People question all these shootings. Now, it's all right to question. People always have opinions about things. I mean, look at something like sports. People are always going to say their team is going to win and the other team's going to lose. It's not that they have any, part in it. They just make guesses. Sometimes that's what people do. That's why I don't really get into the whole, like that Las Vegas shooting. There are many people questioning it. Now, I wasn't there, so I don't know really what happened. So you can always get information on either side that can convince you to sway in one direction or the next. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true or accurate. People can make mistakes or people can flat out lie. We see it on both ends. So I tend to not even waste my time in assumptions anymore because that's all it is. But there's nothing wrong with researching and finding out things or questioning things. Because, like I said, if governments throughout the world were doing nothing but being honest and doing everything for your best interest, then yeah, we should take their word at face value. We should give them the benefit of the doubt. We should help them along. But yet we see time and time again, there's corruption. There's extreme poverty. There are people like Hillary Clinton who can destroy evidence and have all these supposed laptops and do all these things that would get a normal person arrested and thrown in jail where they'd lock away the key, and she doesn't even get a slap on the wrist. And then you get people like Donald Trump who said he'd put them away and didn't keep that promise, did he? I've tried to warn people for a long time. The political game is all about making us fight amongst ourselves. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter, because it gets us to not talk with each other, not communicate one-on-one, not talking civilly. It's getting each other to hate each other because our points of view are different based on people that all work together. Do people forget that Donald Trump invited the Clintons to his wedding and they are friends? And actually, I believe, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I am, that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are cousins, like 3 or 4th cousins or something like that. I could be wrong. I could be making one of those assumptions. It doesn't matter, because at the very least you could see that they do get along. But on camera, they'll put on a good show. They are all actors. And if we don't start rethinking in different ways, things are not going to get done. So this is actually the first live stream I've ever had where only one person has watched the entire time. So either my videos suck so bad that no one even cares to watch them, or they're doing a really good job of hiding my videos so no one knows about them. And to me, that tells me I must be on the right track. Because why would they want to silence somebody if all I was doing was talking nonsense that would help them look better? So I'm going to keep this video short because, I mean, as much as I love one person watching, it's kind of proving my point that Google and YouTube are just corporations that are there to help government officials by doing their best to hide our speech. And that's okay. All I can do is my best, and I am asking you to do your best. Think for yourself. Lose the fear. Don't be afraid to question things. I don't care if people call you crazy or whatever. I've had plenty of people call me crazy. But over the years, I've been more and more right than even they would like to admit. Probably why I don't get harassed as much as I used to at one point. Because back in the days when I talked about how governments would listen in on your phone conversations and stuff, I was called a crazy conspiracy theorist. Now, politicians admit those things. I mean, when you download the Facebook app, so the Facebook Messenger app, you are giving them permission to listen in on your phone calls. Why do they need to do that? They'll tell you it's for advertisement purposes, but if you have your phone supposedly off and they can listen to you at any time, isn't that spying? Isn't that being dishonest? And yet, we just allow it. So, if you're going to just stand there while somebody's punching you and not do anything about it, then you really shouldn't complain about how much it hurts. Because you have the choice to defend yourself or call for help or run away. And I'm not saying we need to revolt or anything. I don't practice preaching violence, because violence begets violence. But there are always ways. I mean, look what's going on with the NFL. How many people are boycotting it? I don't watch sports anymore because it's not that important to me. And if you watch my old videos, I always used to wear a Yankee hat. Then I started wearing it as a reminder of how I used to be and what I used to care about. I haven't had that hat in years. I can thank my wife for that, because she probably threw it out. But that's not the point. I could have easily purchased another one. But yet, because people are starting to boycott it, they're sending a message. So if you want to send a message, don't use a gun. Don't use violence. Use your checkbook. Use your credit card, or in other words, don't use them. You hit them where it really hurts, in their wallet, in their pocketbook, in their bank account, then they'll have to make changes. If you create violence, all you do is have them have an excuse to hurt you, throw you in jail, create new laws, fine you, and take away your freedoms. If all they can do is get you to hate each other because you're different, instead of appreciating our diversity, our real diversity, that everybody should be different, and if people want to be the same and be robots, what a boring world that will be. But their job is to get you so emotionally involved and not think about the fact that they're keeping us down, keeping us poor, keeping us under control, putting all these toxins in our food and water, putting all this garbage on TV to keep you distracted and entertained, so they can keep stealing from you a little bit at a time. If you had $1 million in your bank account and you woke up tomorrow and $1 million was gone, you'd probably do something about it. But if you had $1 million yesterday and now you have 999,997, you won't really think about it. So all these people that say, this person's being a buzzkill, watch your football and baseball games, drink your beer, go out and party, live while you can. Well, I guess you like having some of your hard-earned money stolen. Before the Federal Reserve opened in 1913, people used to take home 100% of their income. Now, last I checked, the country of the United States of America Corporation survived for over a century and a half without a Federal Reserve. They were able to build bridges, build roads, do many things that the Federal Reserve claims that we couldn't do without them. And all they're doing is putting us further and further in debt. And we seem to thank them and cheer them when a new one comes along that's charismatic and says all the things that you want to hear. And like I warned people about Trump, I'm no Hillary Clinton fan by no means. But I warned people about Trump. He is a politician now. He is a billionaire. If you think he's really out for your best interest, you are going to be sadly mistaken. They tell you everything that you want to hear. They made everybody cheer and wave those American flags when he was talking about how not only was he going to have a wall built, but he was going to have Mexico pay for it, and how Hillary Clinton deserved to be in prison, and all these other promises that he's turned his back on. One person cannot change the country. It is either all the people, most of the people, or none of the people. That's why if you look at our document, it doesn't say them the government or, us the government. It says we the people. And we the people, for the most part, are scared, are drinking too much, partying too much, watching too much TV, not researching, believing everything that they're told, and complaining nonstop. Stand there and get punched and not do anything, and you give up your right to complain. Hold up a sign saying how unfair it is to be hit and see how fast that helps you. If you don't help yourself, you're not going to change the world. So 20 minutes in, I'd like to thank the one person that took the time to listen to what I had to say. I hope the one person enjoyed it. I want to give a big middle finger up to YouTube and Google for them to be hiding my video. It's embarrassing to know that I have almost 40,000 subscribers and one person watched a 20-minute video. Shame on them. They will get what they deserve, and I will never spend one dime on anything that Google or YouTube puts out. You hit them where it hurts, and everybody starts doing it, you'll send a clear message. Because let me tell you something, if one mosquito bites you, it might be a little annoying, but it ain't going to do nothing. If 200,000 mosquitoes all bit you at once, good luck being alive for too much longer after that. So what I'm saying is, when people combine and work together, we can make change without having to pull one trigger. That's why it says, united we stand, divided we fall. And we're falling. Thanks for watching, one person.